What We Do in the Shadows. It's going to be on in double bills on Sunday nights on BBC Two. In fact, it's been so poorly trailed and spoken about that you had to message me in the week and say, when is it on, what is it, because I can't find any, because they've just not spoken about this turning up at all. But it is a US show from Jermaine Clement and, I'm going to butcher this,
Taika Waititi.
Based on the film of the same name. It's moved the action from the film, which was set in New Zealand, to Staten Island in the US, and it's got 3 leads who are weirdly all British. So we got Matt Berry, Kayvan Novak, and Natasha see, there you go again. Dimitri, yeah. Sister of Jamie from Stuff Let's Flats that we saw last year. And it's basically a fly-on-the-wall documentary in the similar style to the film, following these vampires around on their everyday business. And the new additions are the familiars, Guillermo, who has been promised he will be turned into a vampire at some point, and Colin Robinson, the energy vampire, who sort of sucks the life out of you rather than killing you the usual vampire way. Nicole, I'd be interested to start with you, because obviously you didn't have a lot of knowledge of this beforehand. So how did you find it?
I just thought it was just a really clever idea. As I said earlier, it did kind of remind me a little bit of Ghost, because you've basically got these housemates who are stuck somewhere, not just for even 2 years or whatever, but hundreds and hundreds of years, and how they get on. I love the idea of the energy vampire and how he basically destroys people by just talking rubbish and grinding the coffee machine and stuff, and then he ruins it for the other vampires, because once he's got his victims and they're of no nutritional value to the other vampires. It's very cleverly done. It's funny, it's silly. I just really loved it, actually. I definitely would watch more. They're kind of taking the mickey out of the vampire genre, which is really good fun, and also taking the mickey out of the kind of fly on the wall genre as well. Yeah. At one point, the kind of, is it the Baron? He arrives and he's doing all this scary stuff, and then he suddenly realizes there's a camera, and he's like, "What's that?" And they're like, "Oh, they're doing a documentary on us." And it's really funny. It's a great moment in it.
Okay. Yeah, it is really, really good. I've seen all of the episodes that have aired in the States up till now, so I'm quite a long way through. But this first episode I rewatched for the purposes of this podcast, because I'm nothing if not professional, and I really, really enjoyed it again. I would say that Matt Berry always plays Matt Berry, but here I really enjoyed him as well.
He always plays Toast, doesn't he? Matt Berry isn't like when I went to the Toast screening, he's very sort of subdued as himself, but he plays the same role, doesn't he? He plays the larger life character.
It's really well done. And Kayvan Novak, who I never rated in things like Phone Jacker and some of the UK comedy he's done.
What was that one you really hated with Bradley Walsh?
Oh, God. Oh, Suntrap.
Suntrap.
Oh, God, I'd forgotten all about that. But here, he's really, really good. I mean, he might be the star of it for me. They all speak great in this sort of great accent as well, and everything they say has got a funny twist to it. And I love the bit where he was trying to get them to go and sit in the living room when they opened the letter. It's just a formality, just go in there. Yeah, but you could have read it by now. I know, but it's just a formality. Please go in there.
So listen, we have received a letter, and I would like very much to read it to you, but not here. We want to go into the library.
Why not here?
I'd like to read it in there. It's just a formality.
It'll sound exactly the same if you read it here than if you read it in there.
I'm not going to disagree with you, but that's not the point. I was a very ferocious soldier in the Ottoman Empire, which meant a lot of killing, a lot of pillaging. People would say, "Please, don't pillage me." And I would say, "No, I'm pillaging everyone, you included." I was relentless. They would call me Nando the Relentless, because I just never relent. So I'd like very much for us to go into there, please. Just a formality. Come on, please. It's just a formality.
You could have read it by now.
Just a formality. Okay, look, it's not even that far. Come on, please.
Fuck this, fine.
Thank you, Laszlo. It's just a formality, please. Nadia, just a formality. Thank you.
Guillermo, the dog.
The humour's very silly, fly on the wall thing we think we've seen done a million times, but it's really well handled here and not just a gimmick. How did you feel, Matt, having seen the film as well? Because I haven't seen the film, so how did you feel this new incarnation?
It was quite similar to the film in that you've got those sort of same character archetypes. I mean, it's a while ago since I saw the film. I think it came out in 2014, but I do remember there being a familiar in that who wanted to be turned into a vampire. But yeah, I do like the additions. I think Colin Robinson is such a good character because it's sort of, we all know someone like this, don't we, who sort of sucks the life out of the room and bores us to tears. And because he does say, like, you probably know an energy vampire yourself. And there's that great scene in the second episode in the town planning meeting where he just comes up with his cue cards to talk about zoning issues. And, you know, by the end, everyone's going to be completely zapped out. I think it has that tone, you know, Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi, you know, you've got that sort of silly tone to all their things, but it's not just silly. There's a little bits going on underneath. So like Nadia seeing sort of herself in the LARPer girl in the second episode and gradually turning her into a vampire, and Guillermo's sort of want to be made a vampire himself and be accepted, but you know, Nand or Kayvan Novak's character just not realizing this at all, and instead like making him a glitter picture of the two of them together.
I just really think that the BBC, they've purchased the show from FX. They should be, you know, shouting about it a bit more and making people aware that it's on, because they really have not seen a single trailer. I think we might be the only people talking about it, really, and it's a shame because it's really,
it's a great show because there's not enough comedy on television, especially like just funny, silly, not serious, not Brexit comedy.
It is really worth your time. What We Do in the Shadows, 10 o'clock Sunday nights on BBC Two.